Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, good evening. This is going to be a short one. It's your boy Homewood in the building. Road Boy for life, 15208 forever, 412. Holla at your boy. Yo, want to talk about the universe and how the universe puts people in your path unexpectedly. Like I met a guy today. At work. We was just talking, chopping it up. We was just talking. You know how people do when you go to work. You meet somebody new. Y'all just stand around, just start chopping it up, talking. I can't remember how we got on the situation, but we was just talking. We was talking about things going on in the world today. About how the universe is. About how the universe will put you in a certain position that you don't think you should be there, but the universe put you there for a reason. And we was talking, and to come to find out, dude is into the same things that me and my wife is into. He's a spiritual person. He doesn't do religion. He doesn't follow religion. He's into his stones, crystals, meditation. So we were chopping it up because it was a very interesting conversation that we had. And like I said, we was talking about the universe. We was talking about different things that's going on, and how you do things in life, and you're put in a certain situation, and you don't know how you ended up in that situation. But for those of us that know, the universe put you there. Like I stated in my last video, karma is a bitch. The universe has a warrior that it puts out, and it puts it out there. And for those of y'all that have not yet met her, her name is Karma. For those of you that have met her, y'all know what she can do. She's a bitch. She's a bitch. Yes, she is. And it's a plan that we can't foresee unless you get in tune with yourself, with the energies around you, with the energies of the planet. And dude was telling me, about how he feels certain energies just going into different places. He feels certain energy. When the energy is off, he leaves. Me and my wife do the same thing. When the energy is off, we ain't staying there. Nope, time to go. Energy is off. So he does his meditation. He says he's seen he's seen things, and things have came to him. And I was just telling him, I talked to my ancestors. Me and my wife, we talk to our ancestors. We communicate with our ancestors, and they do come through. They do come through. They'll come through as, say if, like me, my wife gets on me all the time about driving, and not really paying attention, and certain things can happen. But being that my wife is in the car with me, and the ancestors be with us because they stopped us from getting in a couple accidents, even if I was at fault or somebody else was at fault, they stopped us. I believe in the power of my ancestors. I talk to my ancestors. I've seen my ancestors. They have visited me in dreams. They probably visited y'all, but y'all probably just, some of y'all just probably just passed it off as, no, that wasn't real. That I was just imagining that. I was dreaming that. I was asleep. No, half the time you don't be asleep. Half the time you don't be asleep. Half the time y'all drift off, and some of us will have an out of body experience and just pass it off as something else. Some of us can feel ancestors around us. Some of us see the ancestors around us. Like I said, I've seen mine. They came to me one day, all of them. They came to me, but I knew who they were, but I couldn't see their faces. But I knew who they were because they were sitting on my couch. I got it. It was like I was asleep, but I wasn't asleep. I got up, went downstairs, and then and they were sitting on the couch. The only one I seen was my mother, and I was talking to my mom. I was talking to her just like I'm talking to y'all right now, but she was physically right there. And I told her, I said, Mom, I said, what is you doing here? She said, what do you mean, what am I doing here? I said, Mom, you're gone. You passed on. She said, I know. She said, but everything's gonna be all right. Everything's gonna be okay. So I said, okay. I just walked off, went in the living room, finished having conversations with shadows of outlines of people, but I knew who it was because I knew the shape. And it wasn't nothing scary. It didn't scare me. I wasn't jumpy. I wasn't froze with. I didn't do all that. I just sat to have a conversation with him. And then my mom kissed me on my forehead, told me she loved me, and I woke up. So the universe and the ancestors have plans for you, but the universe is the biggest thing that the universe is crazy how it does things, man. It like, who would have thought I would have went to work and had a conversation with somebody I can actually have a decent conversation with, besides my wife. I can sit down and actually have a decent conversation with about the things that I do. I can't sit and have them type of conversations with everybody. Only certain few. Like my brother would call me out the blue. And tell me something, bruh. Man, this happened to me. I was sitting out back and da 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 da. This, that, and third. And I just like, man, I already know that. I know that already. You telling me something that I already know, but it's so wild because me and my brother talk, but we don't talk every day. It's when we talk, it's like it's brief, but it's not brief. We call, check up on each other. I'm just calling you, bro. I ain't really want nothing. Just calling to check up on you, tell you I love you. See how you and the wife are doing, see how you doing personally. Is everything all right? See if y'all all right up there. And I'll rap to you later. And that's it. But when we do have conversations, it's conversations about things that we both experience and what we both know. So, it's the universe's plan to help enlighten y'all, help enlighten us, for those that are getting their gifts back. I'm not going to go deep into it and explain it, but for those that are getting their gifts back, you feel it. You can stand in certain spots of wherever you go and you can feel energy just flowing, and more than likely you're standing on a ley line in the earth. For those of you that know, y'all know. For those of you that don't, look it up. Do the research, look it up, and you'll find that they might run through your neighborhood or your city. Find out where they are, find out where they meet, and go stand right there. See what happens. You know. But yeah, I just got on here real quick to talk about my day and the person I had a conversation with. It's a cool dude, you know. We had a real good conversation. I enjoyed the conversation we had. We was chopping it up about life, about how things are going as far as politics, as far as the country, how this country is being ran as a third world country, and if you look anywhere else besides this country, how they treat their citizens, just how general living, you know, like I stated in a couple videos I've stated that in Japan and China and all the rest of that, the streets are so clean. The streets are so clean. The cities are so clean. The scenery is beautiful. They have things that we don't even think about having. Like, our trains are the same. Our trains look the same as their things from the past. They haven't changed, haven't did none of that. China has trains that travel on magnetic rails. It's not electric, it's magnetic. Bullet trains. These are bullet trains that travel on magnetic tracks. I got froze for a second. You know, they travel on magnetic tracks, and it's crazy because they are so advanced, and we look at our railway system and just be like, this shit is ancient. Like, it's ancient. Like, when are we gonna upgrade the infrastructure of this country? When are we gonna do that? Foods we eat. We just was watching something. A dude was talking about the foods we eat. You know, we all know how some of us we all know how foods are made. You know, we all know the process foods go through and before it gets to us. We all know everything's not fresh. The only thing that's fresh is if you raise it yourself. That's it. You know, if you raise it yourself, if you catch it yourself, that's the only way it's going to be fresh. Because once it leaves from where it is, say you got a farmer who raises cows and cattle. You know, he sells them cattle to a butcher or a slaughterhouse. They chop it up. By the time it leaves that farm, it's tainted already. By the time it gets to the slaughterhouse, it's tainted already. Then when it gets to the supermarket, it's really tainted. Because there's chemicals that's put in it to make it look like it's just fresh. You know, we all know. I was a couple years ago, I was telling a friend of mine about meat glue and how they use meat glue. You know, the big roast you get. For real, a roast is only about that big. But you ever pull it apart and see that stuff that's real? It looks clear, like it's clear if you pull it apart. That's not fat. That's meat glue. That's two pieces of meat glued together. They do it all the time. They pump you. Come on, mama. Come here. It's my dog. She creaked in the door. If y'all seen that door move, that was her. But like I said, they pump meat. They pump meat full of fillers. Come here, mama. Come here. Here she goes. I'll see her. Oh, say hi to the camera, mamas. Oh, say hi. This is my little fur baby, y'all. And she came to us. I'm gonna get into that as soon as I put her down. Go ahead. Go. But, meat has fillers in it, like your ground meat. You ever notice how pink it be? That's a chemical they put in it to make it look like it's fresh. Chemicals, dyes. They just took the red dye out of stuff that we've been eating for years, like Skittles. The red dye comes from dead bugs. Comes from crushed up dead bugs. You don't believe me? Look it up. The red dye comes from crushed up bugs, and they just banned that in America. But certain countries ban everything that's in our food that the FDA allows in our food. Other countries have banned that. It's not allowed in their food. It's not allowed in their food because they don't want their citizens dying off. They want their citizens to grow and grow the population, and die off on their own. They trying to kill us off over here. It's crazy. It's crazy because you can't. If you try to create generational wealth, you're going to go through hoops and fires and all the rest of this and all the rest of that, and by the time you get to the end of that, your generation is gone. Like the generations are slowly fading off. We can't create generational wealth because it's not meant for us to do that. And if we do that, that person who owns that wealth, or say if that person owns that land, they pass away, they'll make sure your family don't get it. It'll still be in their name, but they'll make sure your family don't get that. And it's crazy because we built this country out of sweat, blood, tears, sacrifices that they made to get this country up, and got nothing. We really got nothing to show for it. Nothing to show for it. It'll be hard for me to try to go buy some land, to purchase some land. Oh yeah, we'll give you a little bone. We'll give you a little quarter of an acre of a lot. You can get that. But I don't think you're gonna do is plant a little garden in it. That's it. As far as giving us land, nope. Cause think of all them stars and everything that buy up all this land. Once they gone, that land goes right back to where they got it from. It don't go to their families. It don't go to their families unless you finagle your way and finagle some way to keep it within your family, just like they do. They finagle the system. They keep all that generational wealth in their family. So why can't we do the same? Why do we have to get ridiculed and looked at like we are not allowed to buy land, or we are not allowed to purchase this house or purchase this car because this looks too expensive for you. You don't look like the type that can afford that. Wow, we're supposed to just shuck and jive and do all the rest of this, and here we work hard just like the next man. We do everything they do, but they'll get it before we get it. We was talking about everything from religion to politics to the fifth dimension, vanished civilizations. Like we was talking about the Maya Indians and about how does a whole civilization vanish without a trace. There's no bones, there's no nothing, there's nothing of them left except where they were. There's nothing of them left. All the structures they built is still there, but we don't know that for sure. Then we was talking about Antarctica and how for years they've been telling us that Antarctica is just all ice. But there's evidence of people that have seen over that wall, that have flew through a tunnel and ended up in another place, in another dimension. But it's right up in Antarctica. All them little, excuse me, y'all. My air is popping. Somebody talking about, all them little movies we see, them sci-fi movies where they was talking about all the, how the Nazis went to Antarctica and they are in Antarctica. Well, before we had jet planes, they found a jet plane in Hitler's bunker. They found a jet plane in Hitler's bunker that wasn't supposed to be there, but yet it was there. And this jet plane was something that he was doing. I don't think he was from here for real. Because where did he get a jet plane from? And it wasn't a Russian jet. It wasn't a Chinese jet. It wasn't an American jet. It was a jet plane. They found scriptures and written proof that he was in tune with something else that was giving him the knowledge to do what he did. But they're not going to let that. They're not going to let that out. Like he was telling me, about the Vatican City. Everybody knows about the Vatican City. Some of us do, some of us don't. How there's no guns, there's no crime in the Vatican, and there's a pope that nobody sees. There's a pope that nobody sees, and this is the one that every president from every country goes to before they go to war. They have to get his permission. It's a pope that don't nobody see. How and why is that? That this man controls nations. This man controls countries. He controls who goes to war and who don't. How? And it's crazy how things happen in the world, man. I'm just stating that, I may have got off track a little bit, but we was talking about the universe, and I was telling him that me and my baby sit and have conversations about the things we watch on TV. We watch all types of stuff. We watch about aliens, secret passages, other dimensions, time travel, wormholes. The pyramids. The pyramids been around before the Egyptians. The pyramids was there before the Egyptians even got there. But yet, they tell you in school that that's when the pyramids was built, when the Egyptian, the pharaohs and all the rest of that was there. They didn't know that stuff was already there before them. This is how old them structures are, and they're not structures. I mean, they're structures, but they're not what everybody thinks. They're not what everybody thinks. See, the truth is out there, but they don't want that to come out. They're not going to let the truth come out, because if you let all that truth come out, you destroy everything that they built for themselves. You know, it's already a wrap for them. You know, it's already a wrap for them. There's a mass awakening that's happening, and it's scaring the shit out of them because they know their time is limited. Their time is almost up. And they can't stand it, and they're trying to scramble. They're scrambling to try to stop it. They're trying to stop it. It's a mass awakening. It's a mass awakening of reveals. The veils are lifting. People's blinders are coming off. All of that. Why do you think they blot out the sun? It's not because of the heat. It's not because of heat. I mean, it's good, but do y'all know how far away the sun is from this planet? That we are not supposed to really see the sun, for real, for real. We're not. We're not supposed to see the sun. The sun's too far. Sun's too far, but we see it. As we claim we see it, and they claim that that's what that is up in the sky. But do you know why they really block it out? Hush. You know, I know. You know, the sun gives us melanated people because we are, hey, I'ma just put it out there. We are gods. We are gods. The sun gives us that information, you know what I mean? And they block that out because they know what the sun is to us. You know, your favorite superheroes are copies of ancient deities. Egyptian, African, they're copies of ancient deities. They just put them in the form of entertainment to where you can relate to them. You know what I mean? The Egyptian god Ra gets his power from the sun, right? So does Superman. Who is Superman patterned after? See? Superman is patterned after Ra. Superman gets his strength and shit from the sun. You block the sun out, he's weak. He's weak. You put him under a red sun, he's weak. You know, the only thing that's really fictional, because I don't is kryptonite. Kryptonite is radiation. So if he gets weakened from a piece of rock from his planet, that, come on now. Shouldn't that happen to all of us? But we are weakened. We are weakened. We are held down. But like I said, it's a mass awakening, and it's happening at an alarming rate. You know. So, but back to the universe. I believe the universe led me on a path to find my wife. Baby! She's ignoring me, y'all. She's a duty head. But, you know, that's where the universe took me. I'm glad it did that. You know, I'm glad it did that. Because I was one of the ones that was always talking, I ain't never getting married. I ain't never getting married. But look at me now, going on 2 years. Yay for me. Going on 2 years. You know, oh yeah, and we was also talking about how movies. We was talking about movies. But how movies are telling you the truth, but they're putting it in the form of entertainment. There's some fiction in there. There's fiction in there. And there's 95%, I'll say 98% truth and 2% fiction. All you gotta do is peel back the layers. Just peel it back. and you'll find the truth. They're putting the truth out there, and they're doing it in the form of entertainment. You know what I mean? So just, do your research, look up things, and you'll be surprised when you stop and stand still and just listen. Just listen. I did it one day. I stopped, stood still, closed my eyes, blocked out everything, and heard nothing but nature. No traffic, no people talking, you know what I mean? No other kind of sounds, just nature. And it was a fucking beautiful thing. Beautiful. It was beautiful. But that's my time, peoples. I just got on here to tell y'all how the universe put somebody in the place that put us and dude that I just was talking to today at work, in the same place, in the same vicinity, at the same time. So ladies and gentlemen, that's my time up here. Appreciate y'all taking this journey with me to my day ones. Love y'all. To everybody else, welcome. Name of the channel, go check it out. Hanging with Carlos Tipton on YouTube. Y'all can find me on Instagram, Big Daddy Los. Y'all can find me on TikTok, Carlos Tipton 007. Y'all can even find me on Red Note. Just look me up on Red Note. You know what I mean? Make sure y'all go check out our other YouTube channel, Nadora Sounds. My baby puts her heart into doing them little videos. She does all the videos herself. She makes all the videos herself. So make sure y'all go check that out. The channel is called Nadora Sounds. Nadora. So on YouTube, look it up. You'll be glad I pointed you in that direction. For all your meditation music, go ahead and check that out. So till next time, y'all. Love y'all. Peace. Stay blessed.